Hi, my name is Emily Hill, and this is my video project on the LGBTQ community and the Bible Belt. The Bible Belt is an informal region in the southern United States, which social conservative evangelical Protestants play a very strong role in the society and politics. This basically means that the average of attendance in church is above average in in the United States, um, and these people tend to interpret the Bible literally. Um, the religions that are included in the Bible Belt are Baptist, Pentecostal, Holiness, and Church of God, and the fundamental Christians. Um, and um, This is a picture of the Bible Belt and the places that of the states that are included. As you can see, it's kind of some of the states aren't in the complete red. So the states that are included are Virginia, Kentucky, Missouri, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Um, those are the states that are in the red. There isn't any confusion on if they are in the Bible Belt or if they are not, or if part of their state is and part of the state's not. The other states that are kind of along the edge are Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, Illinois, Kansas, New Mexico, and Florida. What this means is in this specific area, that's where this is where the average is a lot higher of churchgoers and people that tend to interpret the Bible as they read it. They don't. It's the Bible is open for interpretation, but these people it's they don't. They're interpreting it as what it's specifically read as. You read a stop sign, that means stop. That's how they would read the Bible. And so, in the beginning of this research that I did, I wanted to start by talking about another time period where, um, like, the Bible was interpreted straight from being read, and I thought that had to do with segregation and how the South was, um, how they had slavery, and it was very difficult for when slavery was abolished to desegregate the South. And so I wanted to explain how one specific group was oppressed and how that is similar to the LGBTQ community. And the problem was that they had trouble after the civil rights movement to desegregate the community because um, the Bible said that a black man is the original sin. And there was another example that it wasn't a serpent that lured Eve from Adam and Eve, it was a black man. So they argue that a beast is a black man, which is why when they talk about other ways that to hurt black people, other than using derogative terms, they may use beast or a serpent, which are both very negative in connotation. But this is why that they felt that black people didn't have the right to live in their communities, which is just one example of how in the Bible Belt, the religion really kind of constructs the way that they go about their day-to-day lives and their values. So that is how it brought me to segregation and the treatment in the LGBT community. And they have a lot of physical abuse, emotional abuse, and work discrimination. I found this case study where 46 gay men and women were interviewed, and most of them have described being isolated, abused, or have experienced themselves self-loathing just by growing up in an environment like this. Also, only 21 states, including DC, have laws that protect LGBTQ people in their workplace, and 12% to 30% of people that identify as part of the homosexual or LGBT community have witnessed discrimination of, and this means like they could be denied employment, um, denied raises, being fired, and getting negative performance reviews, which then will affect if they do get, if they like decide to quit and reapply somewhere else and they have like these negative like reviews on them, that they like will have trouble getting other jobs. And this kind of shows how like how in say like racism, how if you think of like the redlining, they weren't allowed to get loans for houses, and and that's because of like the amount of money that they had, and they wouldn't have gotten that. And this is the same because like they did nothing wrong, but because of their sexual orientation, they were denied a like a healthy work environment, and then this will affect them in the long run because they won't be able to get a new job if they want to, and they are just like stuck in this place of like hurt and negative feelings. I went deeper into the self-loathing in the of growing up in LGBTQ in the Bible Belt, and I found that like a personal account where a a woman who talked about that people who just grow up there are just like kind of taught in churches to be homophobic because of their religious upbringing, and that it's just so hard not to because everyone around them is also so religious, um, and how like it's hard if you're surrounded by homosexuals and you feel like you stand out. There was this woman who talked about who she ended up blaming herself for her upbringing and for like her her religion on being like so homophobic. Like she recognized that she is, and that religion does play a factor on this, but it's hard not to grow up in being homophobic, um, because like you get the influence from churches and pastors in the Bible Belt and the communities. They learn from their family members and teachers and neighbors that homosexuality is wrong. So being fed all of these these all those words from respectable people in the community can like come across as being like for people in the LGBT community to like feel like they are wrong and that they don't belong there, which can cause a lot of like negative emotions and depression, plus like getting any other kind of abuse, like when they are in like college or in locker rooms. And not a lot of states have protections. Like it said, there was only 21 out of the 50 states that have protections against that protect LGBT members. Um, so for the other percent, like there isn't like think of like how on campus here at Keene State we have like the Office of Multicultural Affairs and LGBTQ support. We have many different discussions, and there's clubs that are around it, and how we don't even realize how much that is a privilege and how strange that might be for someone who lives down south. And so I think that that like being in the Bible Belt, like religion just plays a very big role in how people in the LGBTQ community like go about their days, because they are like surrounded by people who are homophobic and like have a very strong hold on their religions.